Yeah, you ain't had to do that. You was already had it. Just trying to tell you, calm down, yo.
We live. Just shut up.
Huh?
God, please. We live, bro.
What? You still got calm
Don't be saying all that about him here. No. Call him and tell him that. Come on. Yeah.
What?
Call him and tell him that.
Tell him what?
Yeah.
Oh, uh-oh, you know I'm in the middle of the game. The music playing? We live, Juju? Oh. How come I can't hear no music?
Slim Boy, can you hear it?
No.
You can't hear the music?
I can only see your head wobbling back and forth.
You don't even want to hear the music.
Nah, Kent said he can hear it. He in the chat. Kent said he can hear the music.
Oh.
I'll mute it. Ooh wee. Pseudo Killer after show. I know there's another after show going on, but I think a lot of the pseudo killers want to input on some certain things, so I feel like that's would be more justly done over here without all the noise and the static. It's all good though. It's two of them going on though, so pick which one you want to go to. Ain't no thing. Shout out to DMG and Paradigm Shift 314. You know, dope platform. It was a dope platform before things started to fall apart, and not his platform, but just people over there. I think things fall apart. You'll get it right. Okay, whatever. But I think he fixed that. I think he fixed that. Well, Cedric fixed that. Yeah, clearly. So we're gonna get right into it. Do a little review on the debate, and I will go first. And all I'm gonna say is, he clearly demonstrated the premise. Was it ever the same? And he walked it down so strategically and surgically that dum-dums did not get it, but we can't help that you can't get it. If you don't know that there's such thing as proto-astrology and astronomy, we can't help you at this point, especially when y'all playing like y'all the smartest people on the planet. Like, it's weird at this point. So yeah, we're not going to do none of that. Juju ain't debating none of y'all weirdos for real, and I'm not scared. Not scared to go on basically every platform in the freaking YouTube universe with every freaking pseudo. Whether I get off or muted out the platform, I'm there outnumbered. So you can never call me scared ever. Okay, I just don't want to debate you, and that's a personal choice. I don't need social media fame or status, clout, none of that. I got it good how I'm living these days. You better ask somebody. And plus, I'm too busy. So neither here nor there. I just had to say that. I'm debating none of y'all. I'm debating none of y'all heathens, none of y'all bottom feeders. I ain't doing it, and I ain't got to. We have a debate on the team, and it's Cedric. So if you want to debate him. You feel me? We have a designated individual. That's how we do it around here, because he's the best at it. It's an art and it's a science to debate. And Cedric got a lock. Did y'all see that presentation? On point. And he didn't even use the dagger. The dagger. He never used it. And I ain't gonna even tell y'all because y'all ain't come figure out I can't help you out. So co-opted does not mean the same as they were the same. And if you're gonna commit an etymological fallacy saying that the etymology is the same, that's an etymological fallacy. Don't do it. The same, root of a word doesn't mean they're the same things. Really? Is this what we doing for real? Is this what we doing for real? Like, come on. Y'all killing me right now. Those are my quick tidbits of the debate. Besides, so what I think people need to understand is people have certain personalities. Cedric's personality in the debate is very much energetic and commanding. If you don't like that, don't debate him. Okay? That's as simple. And the same thing that happened in his Q&A, what she did with interrupting, is the same thing he did in hers. It was a nothing different. So all that, we a hater, we biased, whatever. We don't care. We don't care. If your cat chose who won in that debate and it was Dr. Too Sweet, you and your cat suit up. I'm going to say that. Nigga, I want all the smoke for real. Because this shit is crazy right now. Keep screaming about we biased and y'all wearing t-shirts that say I'm biased. Like, get out of here for real. We ain't got time for that. Go with that. We ain't got time to hear that. But before I choke, we got God Killer and we got the winner by default and because he whipped during the first round, Cedric. The body, the killer, the body bag, the pseudo slayer, Ortega.
Thank you. Of course, we are here.
Wait, shout out to nephew. Appreciate you, nephew.
Whoopsies in the building. We finally got my son in the building, and he is an avid debater. I hope he is supporting in a little bit. He's an avid debater, and he called me up. He said he enjoyed that. So if I made him proud, this is a young man that goes all the way to the UN in Boston. From right here, he's going to study political science.
Yes,
so
nephew.
He's a real debater. That's hands down. It's in the blood. So shout out to Bob Sater.
Don't give none of them heathens your Facebook, nephew. Please, just don't do it. Ignore all of them. They're
gonna harass you. You don't have time for that. But you ain't got no time for that.
You ain't got no time. Don't give them none of your Facebook. They're gonna want to try to debate you. Tell them you ain't got time for that. Okay? You go into
you college. You're going to college this year. You ain't got no time for that. Let me. But what we're here for is critique, because we're all about improving, all about getting better. So I want to hear some of the critique. Some of it I'll know already. My aggression. I'm DMX.
I'm a killer. Don't push me. I'm gonna turn around and make you out of sushi. However them lyrics go, something like that. Shout out to Dochi. Okay, I'm gonna behave.
You see, my prediction was right. Deification versus divination. She was going to move the goalpost and go out of the playing zone. That's why the chronology was so important to put it up there. God Killer, great work, God Killer. We a team. You science is undefeated. Y'all can't beat the pseudo killers. We's a machine, a well-oiled machine.
Right. Are there any points in that debate that maybe like you didn't get to express that you wanted to clarify at this time?
I really don't think so. I mean, I rebutted both of her claims.
Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was talking, yo. Damn.
We didn't hear you, Ben. It was on mute.
Yep. I was on mute. Yeah, I tried to get to the app to make the app work. I only like that. So you would have to ask yourself, we need evidence. And I think most people don't understand what evidence is. And so if there's no writing system, then you would not know what the people was thinking at the time period.
Nope.
So when we talk about the time period of not the plier, the only evidence you have is these cattle herders understanding the summer solstice.
Yep,
Okay, and
that's
that's
it.
all you got. You got that. Now you if you want to put your pseudo astrology mindset on them, then that's you doing that.
Yeah,
All right,
speculation.
or whatever you want to put on there. You don't know what they was doing, but what you do know is that they had certain celestial alignments that allowed them to understand the monsoon rains when it rained. We do know that. That's the evidence we have at that particular junction in time. Later on down the line, as you put the timeline in, then they start getting into astrology, and that's not even in the Nile Valley. The Nile Valley don't get astrology until the Greeks bring it in by way of
4,000
Babylonia.
years later.
Right,
Yeah.
4,000 years later.
right, and you got the Dura temple to prove that. Right, so the oldest astronomical device, okay, is in Africa that they can confirm. So that's like at that point, you just howling, screaming, and being pseudo. That go for anybody trying to step up. I know we got people that believe in astrology, all that, okay, whatever. But they wasn't doing that yet. That's a later on. Babylonia, they get astrology, astrology quicker than the Egyptians do. They go from astronomy, right? And then thereafter they get into astrology. But
Yes,
that
because they co-opted the Babylonian system of astrology, which took over 1,000 years to develop. Again, Babylonian began start watching their first writings is around 2000 BCE, but they have astronomical sites going back 2900 BCE. It's only in 1600 BCE do you see the first use of omens being used on the eclipses that they took 500 years to develop, because that was developed way earlier in 1600s. It's only in the 1100s do you see astronomy using omens and using eclipses. So the timeline is clear. There's a chronology where you see astrology. In Egypt, it is over 4,000 years between the first astronomical site and the first astrology. There's over 3,700 years. How can you equate the two?
Yeah. Facts. Facts. Yep.
Yo, what up? Y'all can hear me?
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, man. That was a masterful display of the art of killing a pseudo, man.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
how you
You know what I mean?
go.
Like that was that to me, man. When I was sitting back later, I was like, God, that like then you were just so flawless with it. You ain't stumble, you ain't trip
No.
up, you ain't forget nothing, you know what I mean?
No.
Um her first round, she looked like she might have she went through that pretty quick, you know what I'm saying? She ain't stumbled or nothing, but that second round, I could tell your first round had her thinking twice about that shit. Like she had to be
Facts.
careful with what she said in that second one. You know what I
Facts.
mean? By the time I got to the question and answering, it was like she had to do a tactic to throw you. Like she had to run. What else can you do after that? You know what I'm
Hostile
saying?
escape. We said it from the
Yeah,
jump. We said it from
yeah,
the door. It was a hostile
yeah.
escape.
Yeah, she
Exactly.
didn't really want to. She didn't really want to answer your questions. You know what I'm saying directly. And then when she asked you the question and you gave her the answer, she didn't want the answer.
Stop.
So it
Stop.
was like,
Stop. 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 Stop.
oh yeah, all that, yeah,
But I
all that.
thought you couldn't hear us.
Right. Oh, come
Yeah,
on
you
now,
can hear it.
come
You
on
can
now.
hear
That
me, but
man, it
you
wasn't no
can't
delay,
relate,
man.
but you can hear everything I say. You're screaming, stop, stop.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, man.
Go ahead, Kent, and then I want to ask you a
Yeah,
question.
I think that whole delay thing was just some BS. I think it
Oh
was
yeah.
a way to kind of like, because like even when she was like, "Oh, y'all can hear me? You cutting up? You cracking up?" It was like, ain't nobody hear that. Nobody. It wasn't cutting up on our end. You
She
know what I mean? There wasn't no delays or nothing like that on our end that I heard. So yeah, I think that was just all a tactic. And even if her computer shut down and all that, I think when they called her or whatever to see what was going on, she would have answered and let them know, like, hey, my computer just shut down. If she was sincerely trying to stay in the debate. So yeah,
hey
man, she
Kent.
ran. Yeah.
Good night, nephew.
See see, you messed that up, bro. What
Mm-hmm.
happened is Venus was in retrograde, right? And Mercury was in the sun. And so that, because of that, man, that was really messing up her signal. And so
Yeah,
that's
man.
why the thing was messing up. You
The
understand?
stars wasn't
And when
aligned.
Venus moved into the new house, then her signal gonna be right.
Oh, man.
Yeah, man. It's like, yeah, man. It's crazy to even for her to even do all that after talking all that craziness for last 2 weeks. Then
Yeah,
went crazy on how she gonna be set up
yeah,
just to
boy.
come to the debate and run, man. At the end, man. That's crazy. That's
I
Beat
thought
crazy.
it,
who up?
thought it was going to be a little better. I thought her performance going to
Yeah.
be a little better
Her
than.
first round was all right. It was like, okay, even though she it was pseudo, she still flowed with it. And then that
Yeah,
second round, it was just like she started falling apart, yo. It was
right.
crazy.
So
Hey
I
man,
want to
that
ask
evidence
you a
weigh you
question.
down. The evidence weigh you
Yeah,
down.
Yeah. Yeah.
she had on a weighted suit. We don't put a whole book bag full of bricks. Put a whole book bag full of bricks on her back.
Put a bat to her knee on that second round, yo. She had she was limping, yo. You could tell. You're like, hold up, you all right? She's like,
No,
hold
she
up,
wasn't.
I got it right
She
here.
wasn't.
Yeah, hold up. I was like, oh yeah, she gone, she
It
gone.
was the second round was a whole choke session. Like literally repeated the same points from the first round. Like go back and listen.
Yeah,
So
yeah, man.
the book she keeps preferencing that we know she did not read that book. I mean, it sounds like all she read was the preface of the book, and she said that.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
read the book. Read
She
the book.
said that
Get the
she got to read
PDF.
the whole
Read it.
book. So even though they're scientists, they're gonna do clickbait too to draw people in, and they're gonna drop the real deal on you in them chapters. But you have to read it, right? You cannot
Yeah.
base the book off the preface. I hope
Oh,
you
you
didn't
can't.
do that, but that's what
Ooh.
it sounds like. Anyway, did she say she talked to this woman, the author of the book, on the phone? I heard her say
Mm.
that today.
Mm-hmm.
She said that in the debate.
Mm-hmm. But you
I
don't know
said,
nothing
you
what's in the book,
didn't.
though.
I know that lady
Well,
made
let
you.
me. So, would it make a difference though?
It
Would it
don't
make a
matter
difference if she
if she
talked to
did
one
or
person?
didn't. She better go back and tell that lady she made her lose the debate
So,
because
but
she'll appeal to authority in the whole debate though. Off for that one.
but suppose the lady did say that. The lady still would have to bring evidence to support what she said in the book, and it's
Fact,
just one book.
Yeah,
And we
that's
know
true.
we don't. We need what
exactly.
we need is
But,
scientific articles at that point. You can
and
put anything in a book.
yeah, and
Yeah.
her calling out different how she did it, she called out different, like the Oxford this and this and this.
Yeah,
But just because you
generic
call
stuff.
them out, don't mean that's what they said, honey. Like you
Yeah, we
could
didn't know what
probably
they said. We didn't know what they said in the material.
exactly. We don't know. You calling them out like, and that was another thing. The second round was like, is this a reference review?
Right.
Like he's reviewing the reference debate. I'm like, you're supposed to be debating your points, not
Yeah,
a
yeah,
reference review.
yeah. She didn't prepare. She didn't prepare a second round. All she had was a first round. That's what it
Because
looked
that's
like.
all she could find, literally.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Try to
Oh,
stick something together and then try to hit us with the conjecture. And I kept a foot to the fire. No, you can't use
you did.
rituals. No,
And you
no.
called her out,
Mm.
like you told her she was going to do the bait and switch. So,
Yep.
oh boy, it was evident. It was evident.
So Cedric, what is that round where she asks you a question and as soon as you start answering, she tell you to stop? What the hell is that
It's
about?
supposed to be the chin check round where it's a Q&A. Okay.
It's a Q&A, right? And the Q&A supposed to be
Be
like
what?
like I did. I gave her ample time and ample
Right.
opportunity to answer the question. I reiterated the question, but I gave her the opportunity to answer the question. At the point I concluded you can't answer it, then we move on, right? And I used that to hammer home my point, right? Because that's my 10 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like you see, she was procrastinating, stretching. When I tell her okay, she continued to talk. But that's all part of the game, right? That's all part of it.
Yeah, you could stall, right?
Yeah, she's trying to stall. That's all part of the game. So right. So now I know.
What?
I knew. I
What's wrong?
watched the
Hold
debates.
on, hold on, say, hold on, say. I
What?
never knew that was because see, I'm not a professional debater either, so
Me
I
neither.
never knew that was part of debating was that you could stall and that was like allowed in a debate game. I guess
So
you would say.
so so
What you
since
mean
since
stall, yo?
since it's
What?
loose moderation, right? If I ask her a question, if I allow her, she can go on a whole tangent, right? And stay talking for 3, 4 minutes, limiting the amount of questions that I can ask her. She can go and build a whole straw man like it's done in this community. No, don't cut me off. Let me talk. And build a straw man. No, in the chin check section, you don't
Mm-hmm.
have that luxury. I have I have the authority to hold your feet to the fire, make you answer the question, and double down when you give me a faulty answer or whatever. So it's an
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to get exposed. That's what it actually is.
But doesn't that make so say like when you do start stalling, doesn't that hurt you in the debate?
Now, well,
Even though you wasting the other person's time, doesn't that kind of make you look like you don't know what you're talking about?
well, it can, right? But again, it is up to you. For example, I watched in
Oh
her
shit.
debate, in the other debates, for example, with Michael Everts, he when she kept asking him, what about the evidence that we do have? And the way he played with her is the reason he probably lost that debate. You know, you shut her down. No, you don't have any evidence. You have a claim. You have no scientific literacy. She's going to cut you off at that point, and then you hammer it home. So your claim is not evidence. Evidence is actually something to test. What is there to test? A claim, you can't test a claim. So continuing to say that, and she will try to stop you, and you just hammer that point home. That's how the chin check second session works. I watched her. She cuts you off, right? She has the art of cutting you off, right? Especially mid sentence. So what you do is you put your foot down, and I just kept drilling. So I'm going to answer the question, and I'll stop when I'm done. If you get frustrated, that's on you. But that's my tactic. You can ask the judge to stop the time. Even if he stops the time, I am going to finish answering the question. This is a chin check session, and I'm gonna beat you up and stomp you out. You don't get an opportunity. I'm gonna ragdoll you. And if you can't handle that, don't come in this arena.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people in the audience didn't understand what that
They
was, so
understand it
it came
perfectly
off.
well.
No, hold on. It came off as y'all wasn't letting each other finish talking and all
No,
of
they
that.
knew exactly what it was. They need to stop playing. And the chin check goes like that in every debate, damn near. So we're
Yeah,
not. Don't change it up now to not be professional. This is not a
they was
professional
like,
setting. Get
we,
up out of here. You want to be
What
Yeah, she
professional?
took.
Take
happened?
your
What happened?
behind
What
to
happened? What
college
happened? What
and then
happened?
debate over there
hey,
somewhere. Like be
you ever heard of the
like,
Star
oh,
joint?
be professional on a messy
No.
ass YouTube show. Come on, y'all be
Yeah,
Hey,
she
stupid.
turned. Yeah, she turned to a sex. She turned to a sexist. She's talking. I can't talk over him because he a man.
Yeah,
oh Lord.
but Miss Tiffany already called it out in the chat though. She gonna, use the excuse that she's a woman. And she does that all the time. Like when she said
Where's
that,
she at?
and I
Has
told
anybody
you,
seen her? Has anybody seen her? She's
like
missing.
like I told you, she's gonna find some way to use her responsibility as a mother too in that debate. No, I'm shitting on that. But when she's like, "Oh, I can't talk loud," I'm a mother. That come on, bro.
Hey, I'm kind of. Hey, look, but I'm
Really?
kind of with. Hey,
Go
look, I'm kind of
outside.
with
Go in
Miss.
your car. Yeah, you
Hey,
be
Drew,
doing your part any other time on shows
You
as
supposed to
loud as
get a
you want to
babysitter
be.
for the day,
Come
huh? For the
hell
on,
debate day, you
yeah.
bro.
supposed to get a
You
debater.
and
I
Now you
just
everybody
want
supposed to
to
get a
sleep.
hear that.
babysitter.
She in there
Come
where
on,
everybody
bro.
sleep.
I caught it though. We
I
caught
gotta
it.
be quiet.
Some
They
switches.
sleep. I put the kid to sleep.
Hell yeah. Hey, look.
I was
Hey,
like,
but
no,
I agree with
no,
I
no.
agree with Miss Tiffany on that though. It's kind of ineffective because we actually want to hear them answer each other's questions, even if
Facts.
they get like a limited, like say you got like a minute to answer the joint. I think they should have both been able to answer the question so they can then show like what they actually knew about it. You know what I mean? But I mean that's the game and that's how they play it. So
Yeah, that's what I kept doing. So first, when she wouldn't answer the question, I kept cutting her off, bring her back to the question.
Y'all know
Then I allowed her to answer it. And what did she do? Fall flat. Boom. She doesn't have an answer
it's
because she
it's
can't bring any evidence.
nah, I'm gonna say this. It's a good part of the debate, when both debaters have mutual respect. She no longer respects us. So I personally feel like she sabotaged it because
mm.
usually it goes a little better. Like, the other person allows them space. She never allowed Cedric space. And why would we expect him to allow her space on the other end? You know what I'm saying? So she set the stage for that, and it was just going to be messy because she was messy from the beginning. You feel me? She never answered any of Cedric's question. She was just going to talk over him, play. It was the connection. Like, come on, really? Just
Yeah,
dragging it.
yeah,
Just
because
drag.
how she couldn't hear him if she kept telling him stop talking. That's crazy.
Exactly. I said that earlier. I said
See,
that
that's
earlier.
another
Pseudo
part.
stop
That's another
talking, yo.
tactic. That's another tactic in the
That's a
debate that y'all ain't
tactic,
know
yo.
about.
That's a pseudo tactic. I can't stop talking.
The
Stop
faulty
talking.
internet tactic.
So she was saying, stop, 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 stop. As soon
Yeah,
as Cedric
yeah,
stopped
yeah,
talking,
yeah,
she
yeah,
stopped.
yeah.
So
She
you know
did that
she
on
heard.
purpose.
She knows she heard us.
Yeah, she did that
Chilimbo,
on purpose.
Chilimbo,
Did
you
that
the
on
one that
purpose,
didn't
yo.
get a chance to say anything, so I wanted to give you the floor now.
I think it was overall a good job said. I hope that you talk a little slower next time.
Yeah, man.
Outside of that, I think you did an excellent job. But I think what happens is, and it happens with a lot of people, is you got so much information, you
Mm-hmm.
try and get it all jammed in there sometimes.
Yeah,
Um,
that 10 minutes is tight.
yeah, it's tight. It's tight. I got it. I got it. I'm with you on that.
Maybe he needs
You
to
know, so
expand it just like 13 minutes, not quite
yeah.
15. Or another.
I
Outside of
would
that,
be
though,
more
I think,
comfortable with 15. Like if I had 15 minutes, right, I could have gone into what the Egyptian star chart actually is, right? I got 4 or 5 slides, right? I could have gone into it, give it more content. But that 10 minutes is really like bullet points, like bop, bop, bop fast. And of course, if I want to hammer some points home, like that last slide where that killed her, when I said she was going to try and intertwine them and do all that, right? So to get that in, I needed to hurry a bit, and of course, the rebuttal was just right there for the picking. So instead of opening my first round, going straight into my round, I decided I was going to rebut her first, right? So and it was there for the picking. I didn't want to leave it to the second round, so that made me speed up a little bit to get everything which was still in my which was in my presentation, right? Because my presentation, if I did it slowly, it is a full 10 minutes, right? But taking 2 minutes to rebut her first made me speed it up a little bit just to get all of that in, because I didn't want to stop halfway.
Got it.
okay, cool. So maybe next time when they do it, they give you a 2 minute just to rebut that, and then go into your full round.
Yeah, maybe we
Because
should
when
negotiate
you
that.
rush like that, like because we talk all the time in the Discord. Those who ain't in the Discord, you missing some great conversations.
Hmm.
I'm accustomed to it, but the other people listening, they got a little lost. They said, "Wait a minute, what did he say?" And so, some people were reinforcing in the chat, and then some people were just slow, so you can't do nothing about that. They roared. They had 3 people in their classroom with 3 teachers, so you
That's
can't
the
help them.
majority.
Yeah.
That's the majority of
But
the community.
Initially, my tactic was going to take my time, go through my first round, but the fact that she ended with deification versus divination, it was too right for the picking. It was right there. So last minute I changed my strategy, because my second round is about 5 minutes a presentation, which gives me 5 minutes to rebut her. I still use it that way, but I said, man, I can't let this opportunity go in the first round. I need to nip this in the butt now so I can continue to hammer it home later on. And that strategy eventually worked, because I knew she couldn't stay within the discipline that we were talking about, especially after exposing her. So she had to go and try to make up stuff and speculation. So that's why I needed to put that out there. No, rituals is not divination. Divination starts with omen. If you ain't got omens, you ain't divination. That's that's ritual astronomy. That's assigning divinity to stars and all these things. That is not horoscopes. That is not omens. That is not
Right.
nothing to do with personal.
exactly.
Okay, so it is not astrology in the least of the sense. Proto astrology begins with omens, and that begins in the 1600s in Mesopotamia. Notice she did not present you with not one chronological fact, not one timeline, no numbers, no
Nope.
dates,
Nope.
nada.
Yeah, and you can't even confuse that with astrological belief, which is like, what I'm saying, what old hunter gatherers did when they just was looking and observing stuff from the sky.
Facts.
You can't confuse that with astrology either.
No.
Nope.
Then they tell you that. They tell you that, that basically that points to like the evolution of the human brain, like from early humans. It's definitely a proto astrology because they're just looking at the stars. Now, for those cognitive abilities to have evolved, and now you're placing a type of symbolism to those stars, which turned into astrology is two different things. So and in respect, astronomy, it was very practical, right? It was one of those things they did to survive versus one of those things that add meaning to life. And Cedric spoke on that. If people didn't hear it, that's their fault. But that is one of the significant differences between it. When she's talking about cultural context, that is the cultural context.
Context.
So and all you have to do is really read and read without bias to understand that.
Well, what I
Yeah.
noticed in the chat was a lot of people was missing up ancient cosmology with astrology, and so they're taking
Right,
people's creation
right,
stories and mythology surrounding creation stories and applying that as if it's astrology. But astrology is a specific set of
Yep.
of ideas that need to be present for it to be astrology. So saying
Exactly.
that, so saying something like the twins, like we talked about, the Dogon, the twin stories in the egg. That's not astrology. That's their ancient cosmology. That's how they mythologize the origins of the universe in themselves. That's not
right.
the
Yeah.
same thing. And so a lot of people was mixing that up in the chat, and I was trying to explain, but I think they
I
just
don't know why you just do a show on it because you can't do it like that for
yeah,
me.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
there's that
I
bar,
don't think they
what's
will.
her name? Bar loaded.
Real
That
quick.
chick. She's
No,
a
no,
pseudo.
don't call no names because we're not trying to give them nothing. But I'm gonna let you go real quick. But to go on the mythology part, right? Um, I mean, I guess we can talk more about on this show or do another show, but to explain how they use that type of process, because there were no writing systems early on for like memorization and passing down, especially those the information that they needed the most, like know when the star aligns this way, that's this season, that's the time to plant, you feel me, stuff like that. But they would place
We got
mythology so those stories would be those things that had to do with survival would be easier to retain and pass down to future generations long after the elders who are the masters of that were gone. So that's
we
another
had
cultural context piece. But
right.
we'll talk about
We
cultural
had a
context. That's how you should have done it.
we
Go
had a
ahead.
recent example of that in the last few years with the people over there. I think it's in like the southwest Pacific, where they had a tsunami about to hit, and they remembered their mythological stories, and they went
Hmm.
further inland, and a lot of people were saved because of those. So those stories, were definitely contingent
Nice.
upon survival and
Yes.
environmental factors. But that's
Yeah.
that's not the same thing as astrology, though. So
No,
it's good
it's
that
not.
we keep that separate. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
Oh, it's not. That's called ritual astronomy. The
Yep.
when they ritualize it, name them gods, and
Yep.
do up
Yep. Yep.
without omens, without it having something to do directly with the human being, the
Right.
celestial positions, etc. So without understanding the full concept of eclipse, how that works, over 500 years later, you see them assigning omens to eclipses because all the astrological work was already done.
Right.
So, like, if you just look at the timeline, the chronology kills that whole debate. You have 3,700 years in one instance and 4,000 in the next to cover before you see astrology coming into play. That's
Right.
just what all the scholars say. And again, I knew she was going to try and misuse that preface. Again, what she's talking about is the ancient didn't have astrology and astronomy is a word. No, they didn't.
No,
We are applying these terms to the data that is there, and we
facts.
can see that there is a clear distinction. What you telling me about the etymology of the word? This is a scientific endeavor, scientist.
Facts. Yeah, that's
Scientist, you
great.
don't you scientists
Yeah, I forgot all about that.
Yeah,
scientists. How didn't you get that? Like, we know that they didn't have these terms. What
nope.
we are going to look at is the fact that they have documents clearly distinguishing the two.
Yeah,
You see that they have these astrological work, right? Data compiled over thousands of years before you start to see them using that data for interpretative purposes. It's clear. The chronology is clear. What are you arguing? So now you're trying to shift the argument in and do exactly what I said you would do: the sleight of hand, the bait and switch, the blurring of definitions, the random sources. You see all of it. I predicted. I'm a prophet. I predicted what she would
prophet.
do, and she did all of it. It's right there. Like I said,
I
this
know.
is what you're gonna do. And now all of a sudden, I don't under no. I rebutted you opening of the first round.
Yeah,
What you're trying to do, you cannot do. You're conflating. You're conflating deification with divination, and the two you cannot do. You know who says that? Francesca Rochberg. Call her up and ask her what's written on page 23. See
yeah.
what she said.
You debunked her with her own source. That's how you
Ah,
pull it together. Yeah.
I guess people wasn't paying attention.
Pseudo killer.
Nah, they was
I
being
guess
biased.
people didn't. I
They were
guess
paying
people didn't pay
attention.
attention when we had Moya Matir on the
Mm.
PK channel,
Of
who
course
actually
not.
studies. Of course, she studies both. She
Yeah,
studies mythology and astronomy.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? And she marks them out clearly. So I think it was just yeah. Anyway, said you did a wonderful job.
We gotta
I'm still
look
gonna be
back.
listening in.
Did we ask that question, yo? We asked that question, didn't we?
What that?
We gotta go
Six.
relook at it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
she
gotta
was
look
made a
that up.
distinction. Yeah, she made a clear distinction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
It,
say you did a wonderful job. I'm gonna jump off.
Thank you, Chill. Thank you.
Gullah,
Appreciate it.
I wanted to give you your time now, Gullah. Thank you, Chilemboy, PKO official.
I
where they
think
talking about the thing? My fault, Gullah.
my bad. I don't gonna be long. I think so Cedric smashed. He smashed her. She kept arguing that he talking about the Greek. He kept going. He went all the way back to the Babylonians. I don't know if she even argued that. If she argued that, she about the term. The Greeks didn't call herself the Greeks back then. So I don't know. But yeah, you smashed it, man. You beat up. That was a you caught a hat. You caught a hat tonight, man.
I got a hat. Yeah.
She was,
Got a pseudo.
she was DOA anyway, and I mean, she came in leaking. So
Yeah, man. She pulled the infamous Chris MVP. Shut the
Oh,
computer
oh,
down on them,
don't
yo.
do
I
that.
didn't. I thought she might do it, but I was like, nah, she ain't going out like that. And she
Nah,
did
I
that
ain't
shit.
think
I was
she would
like,
go out
oh
like that
man.
either.
I
Finish the
predicted
debate.
a crash out in the Q&A.
A crash out, but not like leave the debate.
Yeah.
You know why she did that? Because she know you're gonna get the win by forfeit now. So she's gonna
You can
use
use
that.
that as an excuse.
You didn't
She
win the
gonna
debate.
say the
I
debate
left.
was
I
she
gave
gonna
you
say
the
it was
win.
she gonna say
All
the
right.
debate was rigged
He
tomorrow
cut
morning.
you. He cut you in the
Mark
first round, Doc. Too sweet. So you can say what you want. You was dead on
look,
arrival. He used your source against you. You can say what you want. You was dead on arrival. For real, for real. So he
Yo,
gave a timeline. He walked it down. Not only he positioned two premises in the debate, which came first,
mm-hmm.
and that they were not the same. One was co-opted. So he killed you regardless. It ain't no coming back from that. But you could play stupid games. We got time now. You know,
yeah,
our hands are untied.
Yeah.
Our hands
yeah,
are untied now.
Yeah,
yeah.
tomorrow they're gonna say she gonna say they let Cedric talk over and it was rigged and they was cheating.
Of
Mark my
course.
words, yo.
She already
Tomorrow morning on
got a,
Facebook, 8 o'clock in the
listen,
morning.
wait. She already got a post. Lil Will
Oh shit,
posted
what is
it. Lil Will posted it. Look, read that. Read that. Go ahead, read it. What did it say?
And just as expected, just like the face-off, laughing my ass off, the Caribbean crash out, and the faulty scientism, just like I thought.
Oh man, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, man. When you're dealing with nuts, man, you know, you just expect silly prizes, man.
I'm a scientist
I
because I
think
have a
we've learned that
bachelor's
over the
degree and it
past.
says science on the degree.
I
Yeah.
think we've realized that over the last 2 weeks, man. Like, man, crazy people gonna do crazy things, man, and
Yeah.
say crazy things. So
But a pseudo
yeah,
gonna die, they so pseudo killers.
man.
It's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. Pseudo killers. Ding, ding. Heavy is the head, the where's the crown? Pseudo killers got them scared.
So that will make you the new. So how many belts you got now, yo?
I'm the champ. I got 2 belts.
So she ain't got no belt no more. She just gone.
No.
She's gone in the wind.
She's gone. Gone in the wind. But of course, y'all gonna see the developments. It's a heavy load to walk around with 2 belts. So we're gonna see some developments and we're gonna see what comes out of this. But yeah, she didn't stand a chance. She was DOA. That face off, I pushed her buttons to get her to expose her hand because I told her you ain't gonna be able to bring a source, not one source. And that triggered her. So she pulled her source. And I saw what she got and I started to laugh. I'm like, oh man, you're gonna die. You are going to die.
Did she ask you? You gave her a yes or no question. I can't remember what it was, but she answered no to it. You remember which one that was? You was trying to get her to answer to it, and then you finally got her to say no. It was like probably like your second question. I think you asked.
If she could produce any evidence of astrology before 1000 BCE, I held her there for a second.
No, it might not have been that.
Yeah, no. Okay.
I can't remember her answer for that. But
Go ahead,
my
all
bad.
around the place. She tried to go to make the claim that they were doing rituals, and it offered me the opportunity to slam her again on that. No, that's deification and not divination. You continue to do it. Are you slow? Don't you understand? I taught you that during the debate, right there. You can't take that pressure. When they beat you up, you can't take that.
The only critique I would have for you said, and I'm no debater, so take this, as light as you want. I wouldn't use any ad homs when you clearly is beating the brakes off of it. That's the only thing I would change. But other than that, yeah, everything else you whoop the ass.
Yeah, I think I only punched her twice in the mouth. I didn't go overboard. But yeah,
it's like you already you running away with the trophy. Like you looking back, she 100 yards behind.
She used the ad homs in her opening round. So
no, I know that, but he was beating her so bad. It was just like don't give her nothing. You know what I'm saying? Don't give her no chance to say, oh, he a man and he said this about me and he talked crazy about don't give her none of that.
Nah, bump that. So yeah, divination and deification are not the same. I wish y'all would go read some books, go figure it out. Like, talk to some evolutionary biologists, archaeologists, you feel me, anthropologists. Like, that's what y'all need to do. That's what y'all need to be getting to it for real. But Cedric, are you at least gonna tell the people? Because first of all, the problem also for me is that her timeline didn't go back far enough. She went as far as back as Babylon.
Yeah, and then try to co-op.
Go ahead. She couldn't even go any further though, but we can go further with one of them. Are you going to tell people?
Probably won't go over there and beat up Hemi, yo.
Hemi's a nut.
Oh, Hemi, yeah.
Beat up Hemi. A nigga Bible believer.
Well, we'll go.
Crazy as hell.
We can come
I told my son in the chat,
say what? Couldn't hear you.
We're gonna come over there.
You said what?
We're gonna come over there.
Come over where? Tell him to come over here.
Yeah, let him come over here, damn it. I just want to debate. I'm staying in my neck of the woods.
You say you felt like you ain't even get your full fight out.
Man, you did. It was over with.
He
Yo,
was
come on,
swinging.
yo. This shit
Look,
was
he still
knocked
had
out the
some.
first round, yo.
Yeah, he was still hype, yo. He was like, damn,
When you
where
gonna
she
get
at?
your belt? When you gonna get your belts, yo? I'm gonna ask you. When you gonna get your belts, yo?
Yeah. Better give me
No,
my belt.
I feel like we need to go over there because I want you to go through divination and deification are not the same. And I need you to, I want you to reiterate that timeline for the dummies, the super
All
goofies.
right.
So
All right.
we
So,
just want to do a little something over here, but I think I'll wrap it up right now.
all right. Let's get over
with it, and we'll go over there.
Oh
So
man, I was ready to have some fun, man.
it.
I mean, we're
Next stage.
gonna have better fun over there. But
Yeah,
you know,
let's go beat up some kiddos.
I don't care how many times y'all call you up my name. I'm not debating none of you goofies. It's cool. It don't mean I'm scared. I just don't give a damn. It ain't that serious, and y'all don't even
Already.
fun. So yeah, I'm good.
Man, why they so jealous of you, Drew?
I don't think they're jealous of me.
Man, what you doing to man? What you doing to make them so jealous, man? It's crazy out here, yo.
I don't think I'm doing anything to make them jealous. I don't
You
know.
intimidating them? Like what you doing?
I'm nothing. I
You
be trying to
pulling up
be
on
nice. I really be trying to be nice to everybody for real. You feel me? Until they
It's
want
like
to
they
go
be
bring bad juju out.
Hey, listen, when you step on the scene, they be triggered, yo. I was like, God damn.
Yeah, and I just be chilling, smiling, laughing, like, okay, I didn't know that. That's wild. But you know, till next time. Thank you, Gullah. Thank you, everybody that came out. Kikto Low, you know, Chilemwe, the God Killer, Bobby Banker, Cedric, Body Bag Ortega, the Pseudo Slater, PKO Official. Yeah, that's how we doing it. With that, y'all. We out. Oh, I gotta cut it up.
Peace.
Peace, babe.
What's good? What's happening? A well-organized lie.
Well-organized lie.
Well-organized lie. Their feet are disorganized truth.
All right.
Every time, for who we?
A pseudo gon' die, they saw a pseudo killer. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunslinger. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunslinger. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunslinger. Pseudo gon' die, they saw a pseudo killer. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual